data types in Python. So we have a huge number of data types in Python, sort of more than what you basically get in other programming language. So Python comes up with a lot of inbuilt data types. So we have this numeric data types which deals with all those numbers. And in numeric we have integers. Integers are basically the integers which we have learned in uh, max, that is the negative numbers and positive numbers, and not decimals. We don't have decimals in integers. Then we have complex numbers. You know what are complex numbers? That are of the form a plus bi, where a and b are both real numbers, and I is root of minus 1. Then we have floats, which are real numbers. All real numbers are included in floating points. So even decimals or non-decimal numbers and everything are included in float. Then we have dictionary. We'll see what dictionary is. We also have Boolean. You might know what Boolean is. It comprises of only two values, true or false. Something can be either true or that can be false. So that comes under the Boolean data types. Then we have set, which is similar to the set we have you have seen in Max. Then we have sequence type. Now what sequence types holds is that they can hold a lot of values in just one single data type. So all these data types, excluding dictionaries and sets, these numeric data types and booleans, they can hold only one value, one variable and one value. But in case of dictionaries, sets, and all these sequence types, you can hold multiple values. Although the implementations and some of the functionalities of all these data types is different, but they can sort of uh, accommodate a lot of values. And it again depends on your personal preferences as well. So for a particular example, you might be comfortable with dictionary or you might be comfortable with list. That's your choice, and sometimes it's program specific as well. So we'll see the numeric data types. We have integers. It is represented by the int class. Now what is a class? As I said before, Python is object oriented and objects are derived from classes. We'll see object oriented concepts in our future sessions, but for now just understand that integers are a part of the int class. It contains positive or negative whole numbers, and as we know, integers can be as large as possible as small as possible. But in Python, integers can be as long as possible, as small as possible. It's completely your choice. Then again, we have float. It is represented by a decimal point and specified by a decimal point. Or even if you assign, for example, 4, so even that would get converted into 4.00 if you are storing that as a float. We'll see all those type conversions and stuff later, but even if you're storing an integer value inside a float variable, that will get converted into floats. And optionally, we can also use the e or e character followed by a positive or negative integer to specify powers of 10. For example, 1.6 e can be capital or small. So 1.6 e10 would indicate 1.6 into 10 to the power 10. So yeah, this is one of the ways to represent floats. We can also have complex numbers in Python. So we have a plus bi form. A and b are both real numbers, and j is the imaginary number, root of minus 1. So we can also make use of complex numbers in our program. And this is one simple program. X is 20, y is 2.5, z is 23j. This is a complex number, as you can see. J basically, instead of I, we make use of j. So z is another like a complex number. And as you can see, x this 20, x is 10, 20, and the type of x is integer. Next we have y, whose value is 2.5, and the type of y is float. Then z is 23j, and the type of z is complex. Now type is that one function which uh, indicates which returns the type of the variable which you are using. For example, over here we have used x, so it has said int, y for float, and z for complex. Now coming to another data type, which is dictionaries. Now we'll see all this codes and all those properties and methods in the next session. But for now, let me introduce you and give a gist of how what these data types are. So we have this dictionary. Dictionary is an unordered collection of data values. Now, what do you mean by unordered? For example, I am storing X value first, then I'm storing Y, then I'm storing Z. So if I print that particular dictionary, I won't really get in the same order X, Y, Z. The order can change as well according, and this is some inside details of how the best implementation can occur. So it is an unordered collection. The order does not matter. It can be 1 2 3 2 1 3 and so on. Now it is used to store data values like a map. Now, if you're not familiar with data structures, now map is a data structure which is kind of similar to dictionary. So if you know maps, you might know how dictionaries basically work. Now dictionary holds key value pairs. So you have a key and you have a value. So over here in the example, as you can see, one is the key. Then you have specified its value. So one is synergy, two is the key and its value is students, three is the key and its value of community. Now one example where you can actually see this is, for example, if I have name over there. So after name will be the key, and then I'll specify its value. I'll add the name. Then I'll have roll number as the key, and then I'll specify the value. Then I can have, for example, my CGPA as a key. So the as CGPA will be the key, and the value of that CGPA will be the value of that particular key. So basically, dictionary holds key value pairs, and yeah, so each and so the keys and values are separated using this semicolon as specified over here, and then each key value pair will be separated using this comma. So yeah. Next, we have Boolean data type. As we discussed, it basically consists of two in built-in values, that is true and false. So Boolean objects that are equal to true or truthy, those equal to false are falsy. So basically those are the fundamentals. Given a statement that can be either true or false. So if I have some variables x and y, and we just want to check if which one is greater. So if I say x is greater than y, if I type it on my Python ideally or something. So if I say x is greater than y, it will return the specified value. So if x is 5 and y is 2, and I say x greater than 5, so it will return true, and otherwise it would return false. So this is basically what the Boolean data type is. And we can also use this in some huge projects and GUI programming and all those stuff. This Boolean values are quite important over there. You won't realize the importance until you make use of these values. Also, one thing to note is the true and false. When you write true or false explicitly, the T and F should be capital. If they are small, it will raise an error. As you can see over here, the first two lines get executed, and the last line will throw an error because T is small over here. This is also one example of interpreted languages. Even though we have an error at this line, the first two lines also get executed. The first two lines basically get executed, and we get an error on the last line. Next is sets. Again, set is an unordered collection where the order of elements does not matter. You can 1 2 3 2 1 3, as I said before, and those are iterable. That means you can iterate over them using loops. We'll see loops further. It is also mutable and it has no duplicate elements. We'll see the difference between mutable and immutable as well in a very short period of time. Then the order of elements in a set is undefined. As we said, it is unordered and the order can be anything. So then we have sequence types. Now we have the following three sequences. We have strings, we have lists, we have tuples. So sequence is the ordered collection of similar or different data types. At least in Python, it is the case. Then it allows multiple values in an organized and efficient fashion. So yes, for example, if you want to store some similar sort of value, for example, if you want to store roll numbers of all people in your classroom, so for example, if there are 60 people, you can either have 60 variables and you can store 60 values, or you can have a list and store all the 60 values in the same list, which can be named as a roll number. So that is one such idea. Similarly, we have string, which is a sequence of characters. Then we have tuples, which is basically similar to how we write lists, but there is a little bit of difference between them. Now, strings are arrays of bytes representing Unicode characters. Unicode is basically one, I can say, a set of characters which are universally accepted characters and which are present in this Unicode particular thing. So we can make use of all the characters which are present in Unicode in our Python programs in strings. Next, we have collection of one or more characters put in single, double, or triple quotes. So we can write strings in single quotes, we can write strings in double quotes or triple quotes. That's completely your choice. Although they may create some problems when they interrupt with each other, but we'll see them further. For now, let's take this that it can be written in single, double, or triple quotes. In Python, we don't have character data type. Now, in C, Java, C++, we have that character data type as well. In C, in fact, we use an array of characters to store a string. But in Python, we don't basically have a character data type. What we do is if we want to store a single character, we have a string variable which will store a single character. There is no such different data type. So also it is represented by str plus. Next, lists are just like the arrays. You might have seen arrays in other programming languages, or if not, lists are basically a data type which can hold a lot of values. It is an ordered collection of data, so the order in which I insert values inside a list also matters. For example, I insert values in this particular sequence. For first of all, I insert one, then I insert two, then I insert three, then I insert four. So when I output the list, I'll get the list in the same fashion only. That won't get jumbled up. So yeah, it is an ordered collection of data, and the sequence in which the elements are stored does matter. It is very flexible. That is, you can have different data types which can be accommodated in a list. For example, you can have a string and numbers and booleans and everything inside the same list. So that won't create any contradictions over there. Now it is created by the uh, brackets, the square brackets, and yeah. So this is one way I'll basically demonstrate that particular thing. So yeah, so I can say this is a list. Yeah, and if I say print type of L, so yeah, as you can see, when I said type of L, it will uh, give the output as class of list. So this square bracket notation will basically create an empty list for us, and then we can store various values. For example, if I say one comma and then synergy, for example, then I say true. As you can see, there is no error, so this is perfectly fine. We can store any number of any kind of values over there. So yeah, then we have a tuple data type. So tuple is also an ordered collection. Now the difference between tuple and list is that tuples are immutable. Now let's come to the difference between immutables and mutables. So tuples cannot be modified after it is created. For example, now you have a tuple which consists of values like 1, 2, and 3. Suppose you want to change some particular value. Suppose you want to replace 2 with 5. You cannot directly replace that thing. Why? Because tuples are immutable. Immutable meaning you cannot modify that particular data. Whereas list, they are mutable. That is, we can change the values if we want in the future. For example, if in the list we have 1, 2, and 3, we can modify. For example, if you want to replace 2 with 4, so we can modify that particular thing, and then we get the following output as 1, 4, and 3. So that modification is possible in lists, but that is not possible in case of tuples. We'll see more of the complications in depth in the next session, but let's get accommodated with this. Next, it is represented by the tuple class. Now, tuples are created by placing a sequence of values separated by a comma with or without the use of parentheses. So, as the convention says, we use circular brackets in layman language. So, you make use of those parentheses and put down all the values just like the way you do in list. But yeah, but you can also store those values without parentheses as well. You just need to separate them using commas, and that will do the work. And again, it can contain any number of elements and of any data type. Yeah. So this is an example of strings, list, and tuple. In strings, we have this particular string one, which holds this string, and then we print the string one. So over here we have a string with single quotes. Here we have a string with double quotes inside the print statement. So we basically print a string inside the print statement. So this is how it works. We can also have single quotes. We can also have double quotes. Over here also we have double quotes, and this works. Then we have list. So square bracket notation, and we can store multiple values over here. We can print these values and see the type of these this particular variable, that is list. Then we have tuples, parentheses, and then we can store multiple values separated by comma. We can print this and we can check the type, that is tuple. Now range is one of the sequence type, but it is not a perfect, I can say, a type. That is a function. Range is a function which returns certain values. So it accepts the following arguments. It accepts basically three arguments. One is the starting point, the second one is the ending point, and the third argument will be the gap. For example, if I say 1 comma 6 comma 2, it will print 1 3 5. Because why? Because we have the initial value 1, then we have the final value 6, and then we have also specified the gap of 2. Okay, so over here, as you can see, x equal to range 6. So print x will be range of 0 to 6. So if we specify only one value, so it will take that as a default parameter, that will be the ending value, and it will start with 0, and the default value for the gap will be 1. So as you can see, if we have printed x, so this is what we get, and the type of x is range.